What's going on, folks? So today I want to talk about a recent court ruling that involves the 2A. And that is that it was unconstitutional. A judge ruled, or a court, or that it was unconstitutional to ban 18 to 20-year-olds from buying handguns. And there was something with buying handguns interstate, and then there was a machine gun ruling that just came down that said machine guns are protected under the Second Amendment. And there's all kinds of cases. They're at the time of filming this, they're flying out of the courts. But I want to talk about the 18 to 20-year-old handgun ban that got overturned. Now we know how these things go. If you follow this type of stuff, a state or wherever this was is going to appeal it, I'm sure, and it's going to take years to work through the court system till it gets to Supreme Court, whatever. That's always how this goes. Yay, there's been a win for this or that, appeal, and then it's got to go here and appeal. And I mean, how many years have they been fighting over this 10-round mag ban thing in California? Even though the judge, what's his name, Becerra or whatever, I forget his name. It's been so many years. It goes back. The Ninth Circuit shuts it down. Then it gets appealed again and says, and then the Supreme Court will hear, and yada yada. It seems like never-ending court cases with this stuff before we finally get a solid decision on it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't fight. You have to fight them tooth and nail, because these commies want to take our guns and turn us into North Korea. With them in charge, of course. That's how this whole thing works with those kooky-ass commies. But I wanted to talk about this one because this one always perplexed me ever since I was that age, 18. I'm about to be, at the time of filming this, when is this, January? I'm not sure when it's going to be released, probably the next day or so. But I'm going to be 51 this year. So ever since I was 18 and joined the Army, it just never, sometimes our laws in the United States just don't make sense to me at all. It's like, okay, you hit these milestones when you're a kid, right? Or when you come into the teenager. We all know 16, you're allowed to drive. All right, 16, I'm allowed to get my driver's license. When most people, like I said in another video, most people I know, I don't know that many people that have not been in a car accident in their life. Most people I know have been in car accidents. There's a lot of people killed in car accidents. Even though all these safety features come out, we continue to have people get killed. Just kind of like all these erroneous gun laws, yet we continue to have people get killed. Criminals are going to do what they do. So 16, they say you're responsible enough. You are responsible enough to operate a motor vehicle, a 2,000-pound missile. You're responsible enough for that. But you're not responsible enough for your actions to be charged as an adult in a crime if you commit a crime under 18. 18. In the United States, 18 is considered legally an adult. And you can vote then, and you can, you could be charged as an adult if you commit a crime. You could do with the 18 age in the United States comes more responsibility. You are legally considered an adult. But you can operate a motor vehicle at 16. But you're not adult enough to drink when you're 18. Or gamble. Or in some states buy tobacco. They raise that to 21. Or in this case, buy a handgun. But you sure as heck are old enough at 18 to join the Army or the military and go kill for them. You see what I'm saying? I've had these discussions when I used to work. I used to work for the Marine Corps in Quantico, and a lot of retired Marines are my friends and stuff. We used to talk about this stuff in the office all the time too. It was like, hold on, wait a minute. Because they used to talk about you can't have privately owned weapons in the barracks. And I've lived in the barracks. There's some kooky stuff that goes on in the barracks, right? Lots of drinking, lots of partying, lots of fighting. Heck, when I worked there, there was a tragic murder-suicide that went on in Quantico years ago. So I get it, but it's still an infringement on rights. It's like, wait a minute. So what you're telling me is you don't trust an 18-year-old in the military to have a privately owned firearm. You don't trust them, 18 to 20. or I shouldn't say firearm, a privately owned handgun, because they can own shotguns and rifles. That doesn't make sense to me. But you trust these same 18 to 20 year olds to operate drones, artillery pieces, drive tanks, shoot fully automatic rifles and machine guns. When I was 18 years old, I could not own a handgun, a personally owned handgun, when I was in the Army in the 90s, right? I could not purchase a personally owned handgun at 18. You had to wait till you were 21. But they let me drive a 60-ton M1A1 tank, because that's what we had back then. A 60-ton. So you trusted me, talking about the government, because they're the ones that put these laws in saying you're not responsible enough to own a handgun until you're 21. But you will sure as hell take 18-year-olds and send them off to war for oil, whatever your bullshit wars are about, you know. So you will give them $1 million artillery pieces to kill people with. You will give them $1 million MLRS rocket systems, and all this kind of stuff nowadays. FPV drone operators, because they're good on the video games. Fully automatic machine guns, heavy machine guns, AT-4s, rockets, the list is on and on and on and on. Bradleys, LAVs, tanks. So I was responsible, according to the government, when I was 18 in 1992, I was responsible enough to drive a 60-ton tank and fire a 120 millimeter main gun, 50 cals, 240s, all that kind of stuff, all that heavy weaponry. I was responsible enough to do that for them if they needed me to go to war. But I was not responsible enough to own a handgun or use, well, back then you could use tobacco products. Some, states, it depends on where your states are sometimes now, 21 to buy tobacco products and all that other kind of stuff. It just always blew my mind. You know, if you're telling me that an 18-year-old American adult, given the fact that they can pass all this stuff, but they are eligible to serve in the military. And let's not get confused about what the military is. They train you to kill human beings. They train you to kill people and break things. That's what they train you to do. That's ultimately what your job is to invade a country somewhere or whatever, or, because nobody's going to attack us, not anytime soon. But invade a country somewhere, kill a bunch of people, do all that kind of stuff. That's what your job is. You're responsible enough to do that. But you can't drink a beer. You can't own a handgun. You make that make sense? If they say you're not, if the government says that you are not old enough to do those things till you're 21, why don't you make the enlistment age 21? Or lower the other stuff and make it 18. Why is it all, it just makes no damn sense. Got to go pick up my kids anyway. What time is it? So it just makes no freaking sense. So, I'm glad this ruling came out, because I think there are plenty of 18-year-olds that are responsible enough. Or again, change the laws. If it's 21 for tobacco, 21 for gambling, 21 for alcohol, and 21 for a handgun, it should be 21 to enlist in the military and be trained how to kill people. If you're not going to change that, if you're going to still say, yeah, you can join the military when you're 18, and we'll give you all the advanced weaponry we want, as long as you enter the contract, we order you to go over there to kill all these people, you use that stuff. But as soon as you come back, we're going to collect it all up from you, because you can't be trusted. You see how that works? So either lower all those other activities to 18 because they're legally an adult, or raise all the other activities to 21. Why is that crazy? Why are you responsible enough to help determine the direction of our country and vote when you're 18? But you can't do the other stuff till you're 21. Move the voting age up to 21. Move all that stuff to 21 then. Or lower everything else to 18. How's that sound, guys? Ultimately, I'm in favor of the lowering the age for the handguns because, again, like I just said, it just never made sense to me how you could be a legally adult. If you're charged with a crime, you will be charged as an adult. So, and then there were other things, like I remember when I lived in Virginia, you could own a handgun at 18, but you couldn't buy the handgun. Like if your father or your family member passed it down to you, that was okay. But you couldn't buy it because of the 21-year-old law, which is, I guess, a federal law. And then you couldn't conceal carry it because it was all kinds of, shenanigans and stuff in that. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching. We will see you next time.